Cathar Love 108. Soulmates, twin flames. Do they exist? Well, I think most of us would agree that they do, even if we haven't found our soulmate to date, or found our soulmate and lost our soulmate to date, and maybe found another one. Who knows? There's no rules. Carl Jung once said, "The world is in disorder." Well, it certainly is at the moment. It's in disorder. But there's order within that disorder. But it's kept secret or undiscovered. And there's probably quite a lot of order that we don't even know about that goes on within this disorder. There's one which I have found over the last 40 years or so of great benefit, and it's certainly something that brings order within disorder, and it certainly applies to soulmates or twin flames. The very word soulmate, there was a letter by Coleridge, Samuel Taylor Coleridge, the English poet, in 1822, and he wrote to some young lady, and he mentioned about a soulmate. I don't know the actual expression, but he referred to a soulmate or a yokemate. And a yokemate is being yoked they're like an ox or a bullock to a plough. You're yoked, and you're yoked to a person, but in a pleasant way. And but it's something that most people seek. They're looking for their soulmate, and the soulmate can be anybody. And especially in this world of disorder, we feel our soulmate would be to our advantage, and all the experience I've had with that is that's true. But if one meets a soulmate, does that mean one suddenly our various crises disappear? No. Do life's imperfections disappear? No, because they're never going to disappear. We're always going to have crises, we're always going to have imperfections, we're always going to have highs, and we're always going to have those damnable lows. But with a soulmate, that person, if you are with a soulmate, or you have discovered your soulmate, or you've had a period of time with a soulmate, there are a number of things, and certainly one is that you have total acceptance of each other. That means total acceptance of our imperfections. Some of us are less imperfect than others, and so there's a mutual acceptance of the other person. So it's not what so happens in so many relationships is we meet somebody and then they want to make changes to that person. So really it's understanding and knowing about that person, what those persons, the nicer side to their character, and also some of the less nice things to their character. And it's knowing those, and and it's accepting. It's a totality of acceptance. So we're always going to have disorder. But I'm going to tell you a system, and believe me, it's a system that works. And I can say this very much on personal experience, because I've used this particular system for at least 40 years. And it's numerology. Now, I'm not going to go into a whole thing about numerology, but if you know the basics and you can apply those basics, you will suddenly find reasons and order within disharmony and disorder. I think the two things for a soulmate, twin flame if you like, is that you have this acceptance. But not only that, there is harmony between you. There is a spiritual, a mystical connection between the two of you. I constantly complain with soulmate, Monica, that she steals my thoughts. And in fact, about a month ago, we were coming home from somewhere, and it was a hot day. We'd taken the train because we knew we were going to have a drink, and this way we could relax and have a drink and not have to worry about being breath tested and so forth. So I didn't drive the car, and we came from the station, which happened to be Redfern Station, and as a test, because it was late afternoon, and I thought, it'd be nice just to sit down, have a glass of red, just to finish off the day, finish off the afternoon. And there's a club that I frequent, and I know the guy who runs it, and it's very pleasant, very quiet. I recommend it. It's the Redfern RSL Club, and it's right next to the station, and it's just quite well run, and it's a great place to meet somebody for a quiet chat. And there's no raucous music there, so it's a great place for conversation. And so I thought, gee, it'd be nice to go and have a glass of red at the RSL Club. I thought this to myself. Went along. I'd say it took all of 2 minutes, and Monica said, gee, it'd be nice to go up to the RSL and have a drink, have a glass of red. I said, not only did you steal my thought, but I had used it as a test, because I wanted to see how long it was before you stole my thought and then repeated it to me. It might have been 3 minutes, but it was 2 to 3 minutes. But this is a practical experience of telling you that how this connection that you can get, this deep connection, this harmonious connection, this mystical, mental connection. I've had other soulmates, and I'll mention another one. Her name was Mimi, and we danced together. She had a boyfriend, we knew him, and he liked to go and have a gamble, so he'd leave Mimi and we'd dance for a couple of hours, and then he'd head off to the casino, and he'd come back later. He was a pretty smart gambler. He had a limit, and he normally didn't go past that limit, although on occasions he did. And he'd pick Mimi up and they'd go home. So, but we had that 2 or 3 hours dancing together, and this went on for a period of 2 years, and it was just wonderful. It was just the most amazing time. Always laughing, always smiling, and everything was fine. And it was definitely at that soulmate level. It was just everything was in harmony, and even the dancing, everything was in harmony. But it was just the laughter and the gaiety, and we both had problems, and we could talk about some of those things, and you had that understanding from the other person, that acceptance from the other person. So what I'm saying by that is that one doesn't have to say, I've only one soulmate in my life. Now I can tell you another soulmate, and that's my guide, Breda de Montsegur, and we were Cathars, and we were both burnt at Montsegur at 1244 at the in March 1224, 22nd of March 1244. But we had this amazing connection even now. But I'm absolutely positive we were so close, and we're really soulmates at that period of time. And this has continued over, I don't know about other lifetimes, but certainly it's in this lifetime. And she's been wonderful for me in many ways. And it's also nice to know that that person is there. So there's nothing to say, from my experience, that your guide, your spirit guide, or one of your spirit guides, you don't necessarily just have to have one, but there's one main spirit guide that I would could also be a soulmate. And so if you miss out with an earthly one on this time round, well, at least you've certainly, your spirit guide is possibly a soulmate as well. But anyhow, we're talking about the here and now and the present. But with and why I mentioned Monica, Mimi, my previous wife was Mel, and I had a really wonderful dance partner. We got on really great, and the thing is that each of these people that not just them, but others that I've got on really well with, their name starts with M. Now, numerology, M is a 4. It works like this: A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then we go to the next line under that: I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R. And there's your next batch of 1 to 9, and then R, S, T, and so on. So 1s would be AJS, 2s would be BKT, 3s would be CLU, if you go down CLU, D's are DMV, E is ENU. So therefore, that's 5, ENU. And I'm Johnny, so which is a 1. Now, the system is 1, 2, 4s and 7s go together as a grouping. 3, 6 and 9s go together as a grouping. 5 can go with any grouping. And 8 tends to be a little bit unique on their own. And but you'll often find an 8 also involved with this 1, 2, 4 and 7. Within that 1, 2, 4 and 7, 1 and 4 have a particular harmony, harmonious vibration between them. And the basis of numerology is basically that there's nothing in the universe that doesn't vibrate. There's nothing in the universe that doesn't dance. Everything is moving to a frequency, a vibrational frequency. And numbers are no different. Numbers have harmony and frequencies. We have it in music and mathematics, right through, no matter what it is. We have this. All is energy, and all is vibrating, and all is dancing. And that's it. But we can dance in harmony, or we can dance in disharmony. And again, finding that order within disorder is by the use of numerology. on a personal note, if I meet somebody, I met this person the other day. Her name was Amy. Now, I tend to forget things. So one of the things that I do is if I meet somebody, I'll often say, do you know what your name tells me? Oh, everybody wants to know what their name tells me, so well, very rarely, well, I don't think I've ever had a refusal, and people, oh, what does your name, my name tell you? So I say A is a 1. So therefore 1 is leadership. Anything that is new technologically new, anything like that, computers, whatever, you have no problems. You accept modern technology. The M is in that 4, and 4 is very grounded, and 4 you need your base, your security, your home. So you've got your home. Once you've got your base that's secure there, then you can go out and do different things, but you need that secure home base. And you have conservative values, and also often you like using your hands. And the person's by this time starting to get up because the person can relate to what I'm saying. And for 40 years I've had a bit of practice. And then I is altruism. I and R are people who really want not just peace within their home family and but they want peace and justice and for the world and the environment. So they have highly altruistic people. So here we have Amy, who has conservative values, and yet she's she's a leader, and she gets out there and so forth. So the point is, that is a very brief description of her. And by the way, short names are more powerful than long names. So if your name is Christopher and it's reduced to Chris is what you use, and people tell me refer to you as Chris. This vibration is not Christopher, the vibration is Chris, and that's more powerful than getting all the numbers in Christopher. So my little trick is that if whenever I see Amy, that little conversation comes to mind, and I'm not going to forget her name, because I can go, oh, what did I say about her? And that brings her name back to me. So it's a way of not forgetting another person's name. But what happens, of course, you go to a party and you introduce that one, and you don't have time to do this, and of course 10 minutes later you can't go back and their names are gone. I'm sorry, I've already forgotten your name. So I'm no different to anyone else. But when I have a chance, and it's one-on-one, and I take my little bag of tricks, and numerological tricks, and I do that, and people sit up and they take notice. Now, 1s and 4 goes together. Now there could be that, and what is most important is the first letter of your name. But names can be changed. But the one thing that is irrevocable is your date of birth. You can only have one date of birth. And the day of your date of birth and the other person's date of birth, that those can vibrate. But if you get on well with a person, and I meet somebody and I get in, what's that, meet a lass and we're dancing, and she says, oh, I said, what's your name? She says, Chrissy. Straight away, C is a 3, and 1s and 3s don't. They get on with, you get on with people, but you don't have this harmonious vibration like a 1 and a 4. But I think, oh wow, I'm getting on rather well with Chris. So then I'll say, oh, I don't want to know, what the year is, but could you tell me the day or the month? And she'll say, oh, the 3rd of April. April's the 4. So there's that 4 connection. Or I'm on the 4th of January, so there's a 4 somewhere. But if you feel this connection between another person, again, if you're a 3, and you really feel this connection, within the name or the date of birth, the primary, mainly the day, should be a 3, a 6 or a 9. If you understand that and you meet people, and also if you're running a group of people and you know their names and who they are, don't mix up 1s and 6s and 4s and 2s, not 4s and 3s. You know these people get on well, so start placing these people in these little numerological groups, and you'll find that you have a far more harmonious setup amongst a group of people. Now, it works, I can assure you, of 40 years experience, it works, but it works in lots and lots of ways. My guide, whose name is Breda, which is, again, B, B is 2, and it works within us 1, 2, 4 and 7. So this is a way of finding order within disorder. It's a way of evaluating whether there's harmony between you and this other person. Because if you're going to be soulmates, you will, one way or another, be within these particular groups. Now a 5, ENW, which is number 5. 5 is a different group. 5 can go with anybody. 5 is that kid at school, and most people get their little different groups, and there's this group here and that group there. But a person at school who's 5, and she'll go to this group and she'll get on with that group and talk to that group, and she'll go to another group. She'll go to any group because 5s have this amazing ability for communication, any form of communication, oral, writing, computers, whatever. They have this amazing ability. So what I'm trying to explain is that if you are searching for your soulmate, if you do happen to have someone who you feel this attachment, this harmonious attachment to this person, and you feel you can accept that person and they'll accept you with our modicum of imperfections that we have, well, in my case, I just certainly apply new numbers to it. Now, I would suggest to you, if you really want to evaluate it, take the time, go out and spend a few dollars, or just Google it. You'll find all the information about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's all there. And all you need is those basics. You can go into it deeper if you want to, and because it's interesting. Not all correct. There's a lot of people come up with a lot of theories and so forth, but the basics, they call it the Pythagorean system. The basics are powerful, and if you know the basics, that's more than enough to know anyway. But this is one way of helping you evaluate, because if you're a 1, 2, 4 and 7, and you belong to that group of numbers, and that other person is a 3, 6, 9, I can tell you, you might get on okay as friends, but I don't think you're going to be, because the vibrations are not even there, the harmonies are not there. So numerology it's a way of evaluating the harmonies between different groups within nature and within people. So this session on soulmates is a suggestion by someone who contacted me, and I think it's a good subject because it's something that we're all interested in, and it's in Cathars and Catharism is about knowledge and secret knowledge and inner knowledge and knowledge of the heart, and who isn't interested also in finding out some order within this world of disorder that we will inherit it, and our children will inherit, possibly, who knows, better place. But if we can brighten up our lives, make our lives more fulfilling, move towards our higher consciousness. And unfortunately, that most shifts in consciousness, if not all shifts in consciousness, where we can, it's learning something, but invariably it's through one crisis or another. And often these crises have their share of pain. So we don't really grow that much through winning. We grow, unfortunately, we grow as people. We grow in strength. We grow in knowledge. We move towards our higher consciousness through some crisis and some sorrow or pain that has been involved with that crisis. But having come out of that, hopefully, as long as we didn't go under from it, we'll be stronger, no more. And when the next crisis comes along, because there'll be another one and another one, just as there'll be more highs and there'll be more lows, because this is the way it is, you'll be able to handle those. And also, you'll accept what's going on. But to help you do that, if you have knowledge of numerology, and even the days and the months and the years, there's years that you are 1 year, which is a good year to start something. Now, if you happen to be in a 9 year, a personal 9 year, which is finishing, that's not a great year to start a business. But, and all the vibrations are saying, finish up, bring things to a close, get organised, and get ready to move into the next year and start next year. And what you're doing is you're starting in 9 year. So already, you don't know it, but things are not in harmony for you, and things just don't seem to work out. But if you had that knowledge of numerology, you go, hang on, it's a 9 year, I might as well wait a few more months and start, get everything organised, but start my business or whatever it happens to be in a 1 year, because it's a good year to start. So this is just another way of using numerology. So it's an important tool for life. I use it. It's been good for me. Maybe some of you can use it too. I don't know. I'll finish. Bye for now. And I hope your soulmate, if you haven't found him or her, is not too far, just around the corner. As usual, I just finish up a minute or so of silence, and just in that minute, you can do what you like with it, but silence. But it's just a chance to reflect on maybe what you're thinking about, maybe what I've said, but it's just bringing a little dose of silence into our lives. Okay. Silence. Bye for now.